along with Commercial Attache, Mr. Abdul Sarwari. Please give a big round of applause, everyone. And to felicitate these dignitaries, I would like to call on Mr. Yogesh Khadikar. Mr. Naseem Sharifi, Consul General of Afghanistan, is a prominent businessman and political in Afghanistan. In his professional career, he has been known as strategic thinker. Mr. Sharifi previously served as Chief Economic Relationship of Afghanistan with our strategic friends, India. So yes, can we have a biggest round of applause as we are having tremendous knowledge today, and this knowledge would be and must be filled with the entire business world, and it will be helpful for us in our future businesses. And yes, I would like to please take your seats, and yes, here we're gonna go with our another session from Embassy Afghanistan in India. So I would like to request Mr. Sharifi to take charge.
For centuries, Afghanistan was recognized as the preeminent junction of trade routes between Central, South and West Asia. A country rich in natural resources and timeless craftsmanship, Afghanistan is now positioned to revive its place in the global market. The opening of new transport corridors to India, the ease of doing business in the digital age, and innovations in manufacturing technology mark the renaissance of the Silk Road legacy, offering unique trade and investment opportunities in the prized luxury goods market. One of the country's most abundant natural resources, Afghan marble is comparable to Italy's own Carrara variety, prized by builders and sculptors since the time of ancient Rome. With the introduction of state-of-the-art cutting equipment and quarrying techniques, Afghanistan now supplies marble products to Italy, India, China, Turkey and the USA. With existing marble deposits in traditional supply countries dwindling, this durable and beautiful stone is tipped to emerge as the new star in Asia, Europe and the Middle East. Some of the earliest records of gemstone mining anywhere in the world are from Afghanistan, dating back over 6,000 years. And the same mines that produced then are still producing today. The country has long been the world's leading source of lapis lazuli, with merchant caravans transporting this beautiful blue cargo to the great cities of the ancient Indians, Greeks, Egyptians and Persians. Eagerly sought after in the gemstone world, the precious stones of Afghanistan are highly valued for crafting jewelry, carvings, sculptures and wearable art. There's nothing quite like the silken touch of cashmere. Demand for this luxury natural fiber is always high, and Afghanistan is the world's premier producer, with a quality recognized globally as one of the best. Desirable for use in high-end fashion garments, Afghan cashmere is now exported to European, US and Asian markets, with modern technology and practices ensuring a huge increase in processes and capacity. World-renowned for their unique designs, Afghan carpets reflect a proud heritage passed through generations of families. Hand-woven from silk, cotton and wool, and utilizing the latest technology in dyeing and design processes, these intricately crafted pieces are now being distributed all across the globe. Afghanistan boasts a 2,000-year-old tradition of silk production, and local producers are now enjoying international market success. With newly established silk weaving and trading centers, Afghanistan has the capacity and know-how to meet the constant demand for fine, quality silk for use in clothing and carpets. The Afghan saffron industry is flourishing and in the process establishing a reputation for excellence and uniqueness that stands it apart from other regional saffron-producing countries. Picked by hand in the country's Herat province, the long, deep red threads impart the soft, distinctly floral tones prized by chefs and appreciated by fine diners around the world. The newly established air cargo route to India has enabled Afghanistan to expand exports in the fresh and dried fruit and nuts market, which in turn has created significant opportunities for Afghan farmers and process workers. The local industry now has the technology and facilities to ensure that produce is cleaned, processed and packaged to international standards, enabling Afghan suppliers to significantly penetrate European markets. In addition to food and consumer goods, Afghanistan is also exploring partnerships and investments with India in health, education, clean energy and innovation and technology companies to enhance commercial trade between the two countries. Notable improvements in infrastructure and other international donors has fostered an investor-friendly business environment in Afghanistan, offering exciting opportunities for foreign companies large and small. To learn more about building partnerships and prosperity in this emerging market,
Honorable delegates, Consul General Ali Khani, Consul General Ambulu, my friends and colleagues from the GIBF, Mr. Yogesh, Mr. Desai, and Mr. Joshi. Dignitaries from different representatives from private sectors, ladies and gentlemen. Before I go on, there was a question directed to us, the Consul Generals, in the beginning when the panel was here. I would like to answer that, and then we'll go to a formal presentation or our speech. I believe there was a ma'am by the name of Patel. She had a question that was then directed to us, was regarding who to contact in order to find the right partners and the countries that they may have interest in. So, first of all, the good contact, you already are in the middle of it, which is the GIBF. They will direct you. They have contact and representation in many countries, in tens of countries. And they also have contacts and relationships and agreements with various embassies in general consulates like ours. Meanwhile, if at the same time, if you're not sure, you could any country that you may have want to invest in or want to trade with, you could directly contact that embassy or that consulate. Usually they're very friendly. We can speak on our behalf. If you have any question regarding investments or trade with Afghanistan, you could Google us, or we could get us our number today from the presentation that my colleague is going to give. And then contact us directly. So we will be happy to answer your questions in that regards. And just wanted to come back to my colleague, Mr. Ambulu from Ethiopia. I just, so much information I've had before, and I learned much more today. And I'm grateful for that regarding Ethiopia. And just wanted to add that I had a teacher in high school in the United States that was from Ethiopia, and I had friends in college in the US and also in Dubai as well, and still have some friends. They're very kind people, very friendly, family-oriented, very intelligent, by the way. And of course, we have a very close relationship in culture ties with Iran and India, not to mention. Ladies and gentlemen, Afghanistan-India relations stands on the pillar of mutual trust, cooperation, development, and partnership. Both the nations share close ties with deep-rooted historical linkages and cultural bondages that have glorified the relations over the years. The Strategic Partnership Agreement, SPA, between Afghanistan and India in 2011 is of great significance for bringing to light Afghan-Indo glorious relations, as well as wider neighborhood policy of the two nations. India's cooperation with Afghanistan reaffirms the shared understanding that is indeed playing key role and making significant contribution to development and peace, and bringing brighter future for the two nations. India is the 5th largest donor that contributed to the development and reconstruction of Afghanistan. Out of hundreds of projects such as the Salma Dam, TAPI, which stands for Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India pipeline from Turkmenistan that they have invested greatly and graciously. Afghan Parliament building, I had the pleasure of receiving Prime Minister Modi when at that time, as I was serving as the Chief of Protocol for the current President of Afghanistan. So before this job, I was the Chief of Protocol for the President of Afghanistan, and I was very humbled and honored to be receiving the Prime Minister of India. Afghanistan Parliament building are a great example of the strategic partnership. The presence of thousands of Afghan students in Indian educational institution and a daily flow of flights from Afghanistan into New Delhi are the other obvious evidence of the deep historical relation between the two countries. I just want to elaborate over the fact that we have over 6,000 higher education students in Maharashtra and over 17,000 higher education students in all of India in any given time. And this has been happening since the beginning of this, after 2001. So since 2002, it gradually increased the number of students annually to hit the peak of 17,000 a few years ago. And our aim is to increase this number of higher education because we've already benefited from students that are coming from graduating from universities of India and are taking majority of the middle level jobs in various ministries, particularly in the ministries of Afghanistan. So, and also, as you may already know, the former president of Afghanistan had already graduated from university in India. Afghanistan-India bilateral trade has a history of hundreds of years. From centuries, Afghans are a trade lover nation, known as the trade lover nations by Indians. Our bilateral trade is growing significantly. Last year, trade between Afghanistan and India reached $1.2 billion. And we too, like our colleague from Iran, think that it is not enough. And the goal is to reach that at $2 billion by the end of 2020. Compared to last year, Afghan export to India increased by 48%. These significant progresses have come as a result of bilateral and multilateral trade agreement signed between the two nations. Connecting Afghanistan to its neighbors and transform its location to a connective hub between South Asia and Central Asia is not a dream anymore. As a result of mutual cooperation between Afghanistan, India, and Iran, the Chabahar has become a reality which opened new opportunities by accelerating exports and imports between India and Afghanistan and Central Asia. There's a majority of you might already know, but it's worth mentioning that all three countries, of course, we all have interest in trade, but in this case, it's unique because the investment in Chabahar Shahid Beheshti port, this is particularly the Shahid Beheshti port, is done by India. Of course, it is located in Iran, and it's exempted from American embargo because of Afghanistan trade. So, and the reason is to decrease our dependence on Pakistan when it comes to export and import to Afghanistan, because sometimes we have political tensions like India also do the same. So for that reason, our trade gets harmed because of it. They are held up at customs, they're held up at ports, damages are added up to that, and eventually the goods majority, which is export, rottens and it becomes a complete loss. So for that reason, we are also determined to make the Chabahar route to India a success. And again, this is supporting the concept by GIBF beyond the West. So again, India will have access to Central Asia, Russia, Turkey, and Europe from this route as well. And this is one of routes in ways when it comes to, and we had our friend Consul General Ambulo and Consul General Ali Khani mentioned another 2 ways of trade beyond West, and there are many other ways as well. So these are the significant ways that proves that there are opportunities in our own area that is much more profitable and significant. On October 29, 2017, the first wheat shipment of India to Afghanistan arrived via Chabahar port. The first Afghan shipment, which was dispatched on 24 February 2019, arrived to Mumbai port on March 12, 2019. And we were lucky enough to be able to, on this end of the aisle, to receive that consignment, and it was quite pleasing to see that. In Nimroz province, which borders Iran, one of the provinces that borders Iran, this shipment and this consignment was inaugurated by Our Excellency, the President of Afghanistan. Afghanistan expanding trade links after the success of Kabul-Delhi and Kabul-Mumbai Air Corridor program, which is running successfully by elevating export up to 48% so far. Kabul-Amritsar air cargo is also started in August. Last year, Afghanistan-India Air Corridor program well, in the near future, this program, the Air Corridor program, is going to be expanded to Chennai, Gujarat, and Hyderabad. But when it comes to Delhi, we have Delhi about 3 to 4 flights a day, which is both commercial and cargo, and it is scheduled already. When it comes to Mumbai, we're working with our partner, USAID, United States Agency for International Development, and the government of India, and of course, government of Afghanistan, to make, right now we have flights from Kabul to Mumbai, but it is not like a daily flight, scheduled flight already. It's upon as needed, and there's some troubles in that area. We want to make 2 amendments to that. One, that we have daily cargo flights from Kabul to Mumbai, and another that we have daily commercial flights from Kabul to Mumbai. And then eventually we have spoken to some airlines as well, Indian airlines, that are willing to help us in this regard. Of course, they are also will be making great business when it comes to that. Once the Kabul-Mumbai commercial and cargo flight start, then we will have flights from Kandahar to Mumbai, daily flights, both commercial and cargo, and from the Herat province, from Herat to Mumbai as well. So one of my aim as a Consul General, I'm quite new with this job. I've been here a little bit over 6 months, is to work at this and make it a success. And our colleagues here are committed to give us their support as well. So pretty soon, the number that I earlier said that we're not satisfied with the amount of business. It's great. It's 48% increase since last year, but our target is much bigger. We want to make this much bigger. The amount of business that is available, both export and import with Afghanistan, is many times greater and bigger than what we already have. And since we have a daily flow of flights and cargoes to Delhi, that is great. But what I see since I've been here, since my background is business, and we're landowners when it comes to my father and forefathers, so I see both potential business and agriculture-wise. I heard some of our friends speaking about that as well. So I see much bigger business in this region, in Maharashtra and Mumbai, than Delhi. Delhi is great. The business is already established. There's more opportunity there. But this area, I think we're just discovering the tip of the iceberg. We believe that the favorable environment is the necessity for trade and economic development. Afghan government in the last 4 years has brought major reforms to liberalize trade regime and promote trade and foreign investment in the country. Export strategy, WTO accession, and leading improver in the Doing Business Index of the world are the example of major milestone achievers by Afghan government. We have introduced Afghanistan high-quality export to international markets and revived the reputation in the market via organization exhibitions such as the USAID and donor communities. The passage to Prosperity Trade Show in Delhi brought, just one show brought $240 million worth of agreements last year. Similarly, last year, the second annual Passage to Prosperity India-Afghanistan International Trade and Investment Show was held in Mumbai. That contributed to just one show agreement for contributed to $350 million US. The Made in Afghanistan exhibition held by Champion USAID, New Delhi last year was a great success and significantly contributed to export of Afghanistan quality products to India. Today, with the support of GIBF and other similar forums, a strong bridge between cities in various countries in terms of trade and investment has been built. These linkages not only boost the economy and business of various cities or societies, but also makes unfamiliar cultures into familiar, reconciles and connects them simultaneously. Business and investment relationship between countries and their people means the improvement of trade balance and well-being and promoting well-being and tolerance amongst nations. Hence, this forum is the main chain that links companies, trade, and investment beyond borders. These events strengthen business-to-business relationship between countries, minimizes the gaps and brings coexistence and prosperity as a result of economic adventure to the people. As an honorary member of this forum, Afghanistan government and traders have been excited to work with Indian companies and investors to expand their business and trade into the untapped opportunities of trade and investment. I would like to make an announcement, taking this opportunity of this platform. We are going to have, when we say we, the Afghan government and the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, are going to have the P2P3, which means Passage to Prosperity show number 3 in New Delhi between September 24th, which is this Tuesday, to September 26th for 3 days. Our friends from the GIBF are also invited. You folks are also invited. Easily go to passage number 2 instead of TO, passage 2 prosperity.com. It's open for our traders and businessmen. Just you can sign in online, or you can come in. It is in JW Marriott in New Delhi, near to the airport, between September 27 to September 26th. But I wish you all luck. We will have a presentation. My friend, Mr. Sarwari, Abdul Nafi Sarwari, is our commercial attache, very knowledgeable about what he does. He has all the facts and numbers for you that he is willing to share with you. I hope you have a nice event here.
Thank you very much, Consul General Naseem Sharifi, Consul General of Ethiopia, Consul General of Iran, and Mr. Joshi, President of GIBF. I think our Consul General has already given a lot of information regarding Afghanistan and Indian relationship. I would like to use this platform to give you some figure and facts that what you think about Afghanistan and what you see in the media is totally different than what is in reality. Very well said by Consul General of Iran that if you want to see the opportunity in Iran, you have to visit our country. And that's what I also say. Because when I first start my job here in Mumbai, I would say in Mumbai, everyone I had meeting, they were saying Afghanistan, and then the second topic was Taliban, ISIS, all these. And it was somehow a lot of frustration that why people are thinking, but because there's a media and all these, so you cannot control. So what we did, we ignored these news, and we start exhibition in Mumbai. We start exhibition in Delhi. And we continuously every year have 2 to 3 exhibitions. We had a trade with India only 400 million 5 years ago. Now it is 1.2 billion. So it shows that on the ground there are much opportunities that what you think from here. Apart from that, I want to say that most of our foreign employees in Afghanistan are Indian. So whenever you want to go to our Ministry of Finance, I'm sure that from the first office to the last office, you would see one Indian there. So, I mean, that is tremendous. We see that both countries have a very good relationship. And I think that is the business community that they have to use this platform, they have to use this opportunity, this political partnership we have, and make it a success also for Afghans and all Indians. So taking these notes, I would like to start my presentation. First, I would like to talk about Afghanistan location. Afghanistan has been known for centuries as a part of Silk Route. So Indians, they were also having trade through Afghanistan. And the good news is that Afghanistan is reviving its historical position. And it's not because of only Afghans' efforts, but it's because of our very good neighbors. Indian, Iran, and also Central Asian countries, they contributed a lot for Afghanistan to connect Afghanistan back to the Europe, to South Asia, and to Middle East. And we can give an example of Chabahar. We can give an example of, we have a lapis lazuli agreement with Turkey in Central Asia. where Afghan goods can travel freely from Afghanistan to Central Asia, Turkey, and Europe. And also, we have an air corridor program with India, Europe, and also China. A little bit information about the country profile. Afghanistan government is called Islamic Republic of Afghanistan. The capital is Kabul. We have 34 provinces, 5 major cities, starting from Kabul, Herat, Kunduz, Nangarhar. The population is 34.6 million, and we project 40 million in 2025. The gender ratio is 51-49, and 27% people live in urban area, and the rest live in rural area. There is very interesting fact. If you see Afghanistan in 2002 start from 2.2 billion GDP, and now we have 22 billion GDP. So this shows that the progress has already made. So, and when there is a GDP growth, means there are business running there, and there is opportunities in that area also. About Afghanistan trade, if you see, Afghanistan is mostly dependent on import commodities. So we are having 6.1 billions of imports from all over the world, which you see 21% is petroleum, 37% medicine and household item, and 20% food item. And Afghanistan export, you see here, it's 821 million. 31% is dry foods, 11% medical herbs, and the rest is rugs, carpet, marble. Our major partner for import is Pakistan, Iran, and China. Pakistan, Iran, because we have a very close border, and logistically it is very cheap for us. And then we have from Central Asia and India. Now you see that despite having a very close relationship with India, their contribution either in our import is very low. We are looking that India become the third major partner of our imports. And I think both countries in last 5 years are very hugely working on that to achieve that target. But on the other hand, if you see our export, so after Pakistan, India is the major export partner. So it shows that the great heart of Indians and their willingness for Afghan products. The good thing is that Afghan dry food, fresh fruits are very much known from very long time in India. As I heard that the story of Kabuliwala, he was bringing dry fruits in bags. So it shows that it has a link in a history. So we don't need to do marketing for our dry foods and fresh fruits. I think you already know that. One of the very important question is why we should invest in Afghanistan. I mean, we have a better option, Ethiopia, maybe another best option, Iran. Then why we should go to Afghanistan? I believe that business is a unique platform where you see the difference between the countries, the strong point of each country. I mean, if you are looking for, I would say, the best oil product, you might go for Iran first. And if you are looking for coffee, Ethiopia would be the idea. But at the same time, I mean, that's why we have that huge trade with the world, because every country has a specific potential, and that differentiates them from other countries. And the same is for Afghanistan. We don't want you to come to Afghanistan and invest in, suppose, in some IT sector, huge investment in the IT sector. because we also know what is our current needs and where we want to go. So, and based on that, we also have an incentive package for all the investors. The first thing, as I said, is the strategic location of Afghanistan. If you are looking for a Central Asia, if you are looking for a Middle East, if your country has a focus to have easy access to Europe, so then one of the reasons for that would be Afghanistan, that you can come and invest. Because Afghanistan connects Central Asia, South Asia, and Europe. It's almost 2.6 billion people. The second incentive, we would say that every businessman wants a strong legal framework to protect their investment, to protect the future of their companies. So luckily, our government in last 20 years provide a very conducive environment for a business, especially for foreign investors. We have investment law, we have commercial law, we have arbitration law, and also in case you want to have arbitration outside Afghanistan, we are also allowing that inside Afghanistan. That I mean, sometimes you don't know how the local court would be. I mean, it's a genuine question that either, I also visit some of the Mumbai court, so it's very, I mean, if I am a foreigner, it's difficult for me to understand what is going on. So that's how big companies, big investors, they also want to have a outside arbitration. So we also provide that service. Apart from that, taxation, duties, these are a major financial incentive that can motivate traders whether they should invest in Afghanistan or not. So Afghanistan has a very liberal taxation law. We only have 20% corporate tax at the end of financial year. It also depends on your financial statement whether you had a profit or not. In case you had a loss, you can carry forward your loss for 3 years. And also, you can capitalize your capital in the tax statement, so there would be no tax required. At the same time, there would be 0% duties on machinery you want to bring it in Afghanistan for investment purpose. So no duties would be required. And also, for raw material, only 1% duty is required. One of another major, I would say, issue is the ownership of the business. I believe in India, it is required that you have an Indian partner for foreigners. But in case of Afghanistan, it's not required. Foreigners can 100% ownership of the business. And apart from that, there is no restriction of profit repatriation. So anytime you can get your profit and bring it back to your countries. You can also have a land for lease, start from 50 years to 100 years. That would be provided by the government. Afghanistan has a free market economy. So it means that the private sector has the control of the market. So government would never intervene in the market, and they don't have that right to do. The market demand is increasing day by day. As we are import-oriented economy, so basically we import everything. So in case you come to Afghanistan and invest in some of the necessity items, industry especially, we are talking here only for SME, small medium enterprises, because we understand that at this level, for the big companies to come to Afghanistan would be maybe somehow risk from their perspective, and at the same time, they need a more safer environment compared to the SME. Because what we now buy from our neighbor countries, that can easily be produced inside Afghanistan. And at the same time, if you are producing in Afghanistan, you can export to India, you can export to South Asia with the zero tariff. You can export to US with the zero tariff. These agreements we already have. We also have agreement with Turkey for a preferential tariff agreement. So that can be utilized by Indian traders. And also infrastructure, we have 4 airports, and Afghanistan is connected from south to north and from east to west. So roads are already built in these 20 years. We are connected with Iran. We are connected with Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan. We are connected to China. And now through Chabahar, we are connected to India and rest of Middle East country. Government always try to help private sector in Afghanistan. And this is the World Bank report in 2017-18. They show that the top 10 improvers and doing business index, you see Afghanistan is the first and India is number 5th. So in last 5 years, whatever the requirement was required from the World Bank perspective, these are already matched by Afghan government. So I would say one example is getting license. You can get company license within 3 days, and it costs you only $1.50. Afghanistan-India relationship, as Consul General already mentioned, we have 2 major projects going on. That's TAPI, it's a pipeline, and the other is Chabahar. We already have 2 trade agreement. One is we are part of SAFTA, and also we have an air corridor project. Afghanistan major export to India is dry fruits, fresh fruit, and spices. And India major imports from India imports are pharmaceutical goods, machinery, fabrics, wheat. We would like to give an overview of the sector that we want from Indian company to target in Afghanistan. It starts from agriculture, mining, industry, manufacturing, and services. Invest in agriculture sector, as I already mentioned, 80 to 90% people are living in the rural area, and 25% of GDP is contributed by agriculture sector. And also Afghanistan dry fruit, fresh fruit, and spices, especially saffron, is very much known. So now what is happening is we are exporting raw saffron, everything, I would say, not processed. So in the processing center, there would be a great opportunity. Packaging centers, there would be a great opportunity for Indian small businesses, small and medium enterprises. Another very much important and very much potential sector is the mining sector. According to the US Geographical Survey, Afghanistan possessed worth of $1 trillion minerals. And the same survey was estimated by Afghan government, which was $3 trillion. So anyhow, if we accept US survey, so it's also $1 trillion. The major minerals are 2.2 billion metric tons of iron, 1.3 billion tons of marble. Then we have 30 million tons of copper, and also 2,700 kg of gold. One of the major area is investment in the energy sector. Currently, Afghanistan is importing 70% of its electricity from neighboring country, especially Iran, Uzbekistan, and Tajikistan. But the government has planned to use domestic resources for energy sectors. And if we see the potential, Afghanistan has the potential of 23,000 megawatt of energy. And Afghanistan required 3,000 megawatt of energy. So that's why the government start a scheme, we call it PPP, this is public-private partnership. In this scheme, we provide incentive for the private sector to invest in the energy sector, and then the government will subsidize the project by buying the electricity from the companies. We are giving this kind of incentives for projects, renewable energy projects, and these projects are also the guarantee, which is called sovereign guarantee, is given by the World Bank. So there are some facts that show that almost 900 megawatt of electricity we import from neighboring country. So in case any Indian company invest in Afghanistan, so then we will reduce from the importing energy and we will shift it to the local domestic plant. So these are some of the projects already, the feasibility study has been done, and the government is looking for Indian partner to come and invest. So these all projects, they have a sovereign guarantee and they will be backed by the World Bank. So in our Delhi exhibition, we will also showcase these projects, and we are very much want to Indian companies to come and invest. Another sector is the manufacturing sector. As in the start, I said that Afghanistan is import-oriented economy. So we export carpet, marbles, dry fruits, saffron, and but we import almost all the commodity from the rest of the world. So if you can see here, in every sector, there is a potential for Indian company to come and invest. Another very much important sector is our health sector. Afghanistan, almost 300 millions of worth of medical tourism happened every year, mostly to Turkey, also Pakistan and Iran. And also we buy 800 million worth of pharmaceutical goods from India and Pakistan and Turkey. So pharmacy is one of the biggest sector, I would say, that Indian can come and invest. Recently, the government also announced 3 hospitals to be given to the private sector. So these hospitals are already built by the donors, and now we want to give the operation for the private parties. So Indian companies are also welcome here, especially in the health sector, to come and invest. And these projects are also backed by World Bank. So World Bank is giving the sovereign guarantee for that. When I say sovereign guarantee, so in case there's a political risk, you will get your money back from World Bank. So that's for sure. And investment in the transport sector, logistic companies, I think, as I said, that we are bordering with China, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Iran, Pakistan. So there is a huge scope for the logistic companies there. And also construction, as you may know, that Afghanistan has suffered from war, and now we are in the rehabilitation process. So the rehabilitation process started like in 2001, but still a lot of schools have to be built, a lot of hospitals have to be built, and that's why we have a lot of good companies, Indian companies in Afghanistan in construction sector, and they have a JV with the Afghan companies. So I think that's also a good opportunity for Indian to come as a JV with Afghan company and work for the construction projects. And I'm sure the banking sector is very much important. Currently, we have 16 banks. These are local banks. We had Punjab Bank in Afghanistan, but I think it is closed now because of some security situation 5 years ago. But still, there is a very good opportunity of having a JV with Afghan banking sectors, and then Indian banking can come as a backup by Afghan companies. There's some highlights of private investment law where all companies, they can register their company in Afghanistan with 100% ownership. There is no discrimination in the government behavior, so there will be national treatment would be happening for everyone. You can have a 100% company or you can have a partnership, both can be done. Apart from that, for dispute resolution, we can also have a proper mechanism there where you want it inside Afghanistan or outside. And you will have access to the fund in case any subsidy is given by the government. And also you will have access to all the data of the market from the government agencies. This is the license process. In case you want to come to Afghanistan, you just send a request to the Consulate of Afghanistan. We will process your request to Ministry of Commerce, and then within 3 days you can get your license. And once you get your license, only $1.3 you would pay. And thank you very much. That's our presentation. If you have any questions, inquiry, this is our email address and phone number, so you can contact us. And we are very much happy to help you. Thank you very much.